just noticed she actually put up a video about it and is again making the claim that I paid for my father's headstone and stole my grandmother's credit card to do it, and saying that I had to have stolen her credit card because I was the only one who would have had access to it. Which, no. At the time, and I've explained this before, I had my own credit card. So I was not using my grandmother's credit card for anything in 2006 because I had one of my own, because in 2006 I was not only married and living in my own apartment, I was working 2 jobs. I had my own credit card. But when my father killed himself, I took time off from work to help my family, to help my grandmother help my family. At one point, my grandmother gave me her credit card and told me to take my mother shopping to get food for the house because my mother had called her and said that they were all starving to death. That went very badly because it wound up with my mother sitting on the floor crying because I would not buy her alcohol. But I wound up staying there at the house with them for a couple of days, not like sleeping there at night, but I would go over there during the day, stay there with the babies. Yes, it's very possible that my mother or one of my sisters could have taken the credit card from my wallet or from my purse while I was distracted with one of the babies and gone and paid for that cemetery plot and headstone. I don't know why you continue accusing me of being the only one possible of doing this. I don't know who paid for my father's headstone. I know that I never personally have purchased one myself. I know that you're not going to believe that. I know that I have no way to get the records to prove that. It's literally your word against mine. But your theory is simply because nobody else had access. No. My sisters and my mother were very adept at stealing from me. So if it was on my person and my family was near me, my family had access. There was one point that I went to visit my older sister, and she walked out of the house and saw that I was wearing a new necklace and grabbed it and told me that if I didn't take it off, she would kick me until it broke off and take it. That was the way my family was. Why do you think I don't spend a whole lot of time with them? Like, I had detached myself from these people long before I left Florida, for a reason. Because they were so adept at taking everything from me. My older sister stole food from me while I was working 2 jobs and married. You think it's not possible for her to get a credit card out of my grasp or out of my wallet? You're extremely naive about who the rest of your family is if you think I am the one that's doing all of this. This is just a petty narcissistic thing that she is going to continue going on about. It has absolutely nothing to do with the comment that was left. It has nothing to do with anything other than a petty narcissist who thinks that she's got something that's like a battle-winning argument, that if she brings this up, it'll win because I don't have a fight. But no, there were other people around that would have had access to my grandmother's credit card. And actually, father kills himself, yes? The day of the funeral, the family gets locked out. The landlord comes because they're so behind on their bills that while the family is at the cemetery, he changes the locks. So they can't even get into the trailer when they come back. They have the police come, and the police let them get my brother's medical equipment, and that's it. My sister and my mother go back later that night. They sneak in through a window and they start stealing their own motherfucking shit back. That's neither here nor there. What is here? My grandmother wanted to help my mother and my brother. She got them a apartment. My mom got $10,000 from insurance that she didn't tell my grandmother about. So my grandmother paid for an apartment for her for an entire year, not knowing that my mother had the money. She could have paid for her own apartment. During that year, my grandmother frequently visited my mother, and she could not figure out where my mother was getting money to stay drunk as she was staying. My mother was stealing from my grandmother every time she would come over to visit. It is very possible it was my mother who stole that credit card and got that headstone. I'm sorry to tell you that your dead sister would do something like that, but there's a whole lot of things that your deceased sister did that she probably would not want people to know about. It doesn't mean people don't know about it. And it doesn't mean automatically that somebody you don't like must have done it.